I hope you are well. I'm here today at the magnificent Bodnant Gardens based in North Wales, and it is my favourite garden to visit in winter because it has this beautiful specific winter garden, and I want to take you on a tour through Bodnant Gardens today, but specifically showing you the plants that are in flower right now in the middle of December in that beautiful, glorious winter garden. So come on, let's go on a little tour together and I'll share my favourite plants with you. There's so much to appreciate at Bodnant Gardens. I highly recommend visiting if you can. There's this whole winter garden dedicated to proving there's winter colour, a giant bed filled with seed pod seed heads and grasses, garden corridors, forest walks, garden rooms, formal gardens, ginormous trees, ponds both formal and informal. There's fields and trees, and even the paths look fantastic at this time of year. I will show you though in particular the plants that look and smell fantastic at this time of year, so get your pens and papers ready and let's do this. There's Fatsia japonica spider's web with these giant icy white leaves. Clematis tangutica, which is clinging onto those little hairy seed pods, very similar to clematis known as old man's beard, but it's not that variety because that's Clematis vitalba. Ophiopogon planiscapus nigrescens. Now this is a true black plant bearing little black berries that retains its dark leaves all year round, and here it looks fantastic, carpeted en masse underneath these birch trees, giving fantastic contrast. But I must admit it looks great up close, but from a distance it does look a little bit like soil. If you love that black and white contrast but wanted to add something taller, then this Pittosporum Tom Thumb is absolutely fantastic with its dark purple, almost black foliage, which would really be striking against these birch trees, and of course it makes a fantastic cut flower foliage too. Cornus sericea flevoramia with its acidy green, almost neon yellow stems. And this is Cornus alba kesselringii, which goes from these dark, delicious red stems into these deep burgundy, almost black stems. Another Cornus is Cornus sibirica with these gorgeous scarlet cherry red stems, which brings life to the winter garden. Pretty pink viburnum tinus spirit. Juniperia squamata blue star, which is this cute, compact evergreen conifer with bluey green foliage. There's Oreganum rosencouple. Tall upright sedum seed heads. This is Panicum virgatum warrior with its beautiful arching sparkly grass heads. Acer conspicum phoenix with its uplifting orangey red winter bark. Another great tree for bark interest is Prunus cerula. Its glorious glossy mahogany bark, and it literally looks as if the tree has been wrapped in ribbon. The skeletal spires of Perovskia. This is a great example where it's better to see a plant in real life versus an online plant catalogue photo. This is Bergenia overture, and in all the plant catalogue photos it looks so gloriously glossy red, but as you can see there's a bit of red underneath, but mostly it's muddy green. Whereas if you compare it to this, Bergenia Helen Dillon, also known as Irish Crimson, this is a much more red Bergenia with a dark burgundy outer red leaf with a cherry pink under red leaf, which literally glows if it's kissed by the morning sunlight. Another fantastic red Bergenia option is Bergenia Eric Smith. This is a larger leafed Bergenia and it's a bit more consistent red, although it's still got that glowy red underneath and the dark red on top. A little cutie tootie plant is Cyclamen coum. In mid-December it was just starting to show those pink flowers, but in January it'll be a full carpet. This is Miscanthus starlight, and it's absolutely covered in stems with those large swaying grass heads, so you could have plenty for the garden and plenty for picking for the vase. I couldn't find the specific variety for this heather, but there were lots of heathers, and I think heathers are so underrated. They give great winter colour and they have a great vase life. Another fantastic plant for winter colour is Skimmias, and this is Skimmia japonica rubella, a classic plant, very well known, but this one was absolutely humongous. It was about 7 feet tall at least. It was huge. Now, if you love honesty seed pods but forget to sow them each year, then this is the plant for you. This is Lunaria rediva, the perennial honesty, and it works the exact same way as normal honesty, except the seed pods are just more tear-shaped, and once you've planted it, you'll never have to plant it again. In fact, you can propagate it easily by division. One of the earliest hellebores to come up was Helleborus pennis pink. Now, bearing in mind I filmed this in the middle of December, how about this for some full focal fabulous colour? This rhododendron was bursting with ginormous hot pink flowers and looked absolutely incredible. And you can bet your bottom dollar I tried my absolute hardest to find out the variety for you. I used plant apps, I searched high and low for the label, I asked every member of staff I could find, but unfortunately all the members of staff on that day did not know that particular variety, and if I ever do find out I will be sure to add it to the comments below. But isn't this incredible for December, January colour? This is Rhododendron doricum midwinter. Now one half was covered in buds, but the other half was absolutely laden full of these beautiful purple flowers. So I've no doubt now in January it'll be absolutely covered in all these purple flowers. In a sheltered spot already flowering was daffodil early sensation. This is a dwarf pampas, Cortaderia salonia pumila, and it's a great manageable height for the garden and for cutting. You can see the one behind isn't quite as established. It's got about 5 stems per plant, but this one here on the right has about 10 of these dramatic flamboyant feathery heads per plant. It's about 4 foot high and 2 foot wide, and in this area you can see they've planted about 5 of these plants, but if you were using it specifically for flower arranging, I do think you could get away with planting double that in this sized area. I just would say maybe plant them in the back garden, not the front, as it can give you a reputation, but they're great December, January plants. These are the seed pods of Symphyotrichum Little Carlo, also known as Aster Little Carlo, and if I show you one up close you can see they are covered in these lovely little fluffy seed pods. Another great one for seed pods is Botanica humelo, also known as Stachys, with these dark brown vertical spires. Now this is Garrya elliptica, also known as the silk tassel bush, and you can see why, because it is absolutely laden, dripping in all of these gorgeous ice white tassels. They've planted 3 of these plants here and they are all established, so it is quite the spectacle and humongous at about 15 feet high, so definitely plenty of material here for cutting. Euonymus Emerald Gaiety, and this is a brilliant euonymus for cut flower arranging because it's much more vertical than a lot of other more sprawling euonymus, and it's got beautiful dainty variegated leaves. Another unlabelled established winter flowering heather. This is about 2 to 3 feet tall and absolutely smothered in those white flowers. Leucotho axillaris curly red. This is a really interesting foliage. It's got lime green sections and dark emerald green sections which are tipped off by this dark ruby red, and all of the leaves are curled. Literally, it's a curly whirly plant and they furl over. I think this would be fantastic in Christmas arrangements, but you can see here there's this mix of lime and green and then the dark red, but right at the back it's lost all of its dark red tips, so that's quite interesting to know. I don't know whether that's because of the shade, but still interesting foliage. Eryngium hybrid Tripartium, and this is a fantastic scalytial seed head, and it's not too spiky, so it's really fantastic as far as sea hollies go. This is Edgeworthia Chrysantha Red Dragon. Now this was filmed in mid-December when it has these woolly greeny white flower buds, but right now in January they will have burst open to be bright red orange flowers, and I can tell you the fragrance is absolutely knockout. Once those flowers burst open, this might not look like much, but this smells absolutely incredible, and if you want winter flowering scent, this will give you it in abundance. It smells delicious. Amazingly, Rosa climbing Pom-Pom de Paris was still clinging on to its beautiful little flowers, and they were still strong. They didn't cascade their petals when I knocked them. These are the fluffy seed heads of Aster Amelis Rosa Earlfunk. They are so soft and pretty and caramel coloured. They hold well, I've shaked them and they don't drop their seed heads, and they are about the size of a 5p piece. Really sweet, lovely, fluffy seed heads. One of my favourite seed pods is here, Penstemon and Huskers Red, and it is gorgeous dark chocolate coloured. And lastly, 2 things I didn't film because they weren't in flower in December, but they will be in flower now in January, and I have photos of them from last January when they were in flower at Bodnant Gardens, and that is the wonderful Daphne Jacqueline Postile, which smells incredible and has these beautiful, soft, pale, deliciously beautiful flowers, and also Sarcophaga confusa, which has this gorgeous dark green foliage with these beautiful white, absolutely deliciously scented flowers. As I say, in mid-December when I filmed these weren't in flower, but they will be right now in January. So there you have it, the wonderful Bodnant Gardens, but in particular the most glorious plants in flower right now, or showing colour right now, or scent right now in the middle of December from the magnificent, glorious Bodnant Gardens. I hope you enjoy it, and if you've never visited it, I highly recommend. Wishing you all the best, and TTFN. Ta-ta for now.